So I'm gonna do my first impressions on a email marketing and automation platform called Bento. And I was first introduced to this platform by being on somebody's list. Then they sent me an email. I unsubscribed. Later to realize that I actually didn't want to unsubscribe, and I still do want to see their get their information. Couldn't remember the website, so I went back to the email, clicked the unsubscribe link again, and lo and behold, it made the resubscription process so easy. It had a list of all the emails that I had sent, that I had received, and just a big button that said resubscribe. I hit resubscribe, and that was it. And I said, wow, that was a really interesting experience. So, being the inquisitive individual that I am, I said, let me look more into this platform and see exactly what it's all about. Right now, before I do my first impressions and unboxing of sorts with this, let me preface it by saying I am a over a decade in the space of email marketing and automation. Right, like I was using Keep back when it was called Infusionsoft, Entreport back when it was called Office Autopilot, right? And I've used all of the platforms in between, the iContacts, the MailChimps. Used to work at Active Campaign, created the whole educational department. So I'm very well versed in email marketing platforms, their capabilities, what they could, shouldn't do, and how they should function. So I'm coming into Bento with that. Let me say this. One of the things that intrigued me was when I found some information about it, it was talking about how it handles events to trigger workflows. And that's very intriguing. A lot of times I'm consulting or working with SaaS companies, and in app, they have a lot of events and they want to market off those events. So Active Campaign does an amazing job handling events. HubSpot actually does an amazing job handling events. And Drip does too. And in fact, Bento reminded me the closest of Drip, just the liquid variables and how it's structured, custom fields, events, and things like that. Um, so here you see the homepage, right? And I'll just again initial impressions with the whole thing, and I initially landed on the homepage, and I was like, oh wow, that's cute, little cartoons and some motion, so nicely designed and things of that nature. However, as I was scrolling, there was nothing. Like I could see nothing that showed the app. Like, I don't know what the app looks like, right? And I spent some time on this. So I said, "Oh, sure, product tour." Click on product tour, and there is absolutely nothing. Okay, maybe I need to click on learn more. Look at this. Nothing. They're just mock-ups. I browsed this site for at least 5 to 10 minutes thinking surely I could find somewhere where I can actually see the platform. So then I said, maybe under the documentation, they often have screenshots and documentation. No, this just felt like I went back in time, right? Like somebody typed this in with command prompt, and maybe that's exactly what they're going for. So let's go back to the marketing site, and then I said, well, surely, if you have testimonials on your homepage, and she's talking about how it's the go-to choice, surely they'll have a screenshot. No, there we go. And I looked at this and I was like, is this the platform? This looks like a mock-up, right? This looks like a staged mock-up, per se. But I was like, well, maybe that's the platform. And that was the extent of that, right? Is okay, I at least see some stuff, so that's cool. And I think one of these other videos shows something, but I thought for sure going to product tour or something like that would do it. I eventually did find a link, everyone, that it kind of like stepped through all of the features, and it gave me I don't even know where it's at. It gave me like screenshots of all of the features, and I was like, okay, that's what that looks like. And it reminded me of Entreport. And in Entreport, you can, I think it's right here in the bottom tour. Yep, this is where it was. In not this product tour for whatever reason, but this hidden link down here tour. So I was going through and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I saw new event, new event, new event. I'm like, is this a mock-up, or is that in one workflow you have multiple starts? Because if you haven't used Entreport, that's how Entreport functions, is that you can have multiple starts in one workflow. And that's been unique to them forever, really. I don't know another platform that does it like this. Then, they have forums. This, I had no idea what this was. Audit your buying journey. I couldn't even understand what it was saying, these lines meant and everything. So I just ignored that. And then I said, oh, this must be what the contact record looks like. So lo and behold, that was enough for me to say, all right, let me just go ahead and sign up. So that's what I did. I went and I signed up. And the issue that I had, well, before I go with the issue, I watched this video, and this is the founder. His name is Jesse, and he's talking about the size of the company and essentially introducing you to the Bento way, saying it's a little different than other platforms, which he is true. That is 100% true. And they're a small team. So they have a Discord channel. He's active in the Discord channel. They actively listen to their users. So it actually gave me the feel of what Active Campaign used to be before it was big. They were a smaller company and they listened to the users and they would implement the feedback. So that was actually appealing to me. The other appealing piece was that in some of the videos I saw somewhere, it was event based. So I do a lot of work with startup companies, whether it's B2C, B2B, and they all have apps. And in the apps, they all have events that they want to trigger marketing activity off of. The default is like an intercom or something like that, but it lacks the flexibility and the true marketing power beyond just things that happen in the app, right? So that's what really led me to Bento, is thinking, event-based platform that can easily tie into SaaS products and fire off email marketing. Now, let me say this. The two platforms that I believe handle those types of events the best are ActiveCampaign and HubSpot. You can easily send events to those platforms. They're logged, they're searchable, you can segment by them. So that's kind of like my baseline. So anyway, let's go back into it. So this is a video with Jesse saying everything and welcome. And my first issue was that you can't create an account without having your domain. So it can't be like a Gmail or anything like that. On one hand, I understand it because this is their way of ensuring that you are a reputable individual, right? Because anybody could set up a Gmail or Outlook account. But then I won't do it here. The next page requires your credit card. So the verification that you're a real person, if you just wanted to test the platform out, that's a big leap, right? Like that's a lot to ask of me just to try to test out the platform. But I did it anyway. I did it anyway, put my information in, and that's where we'll continue here. So now what you see here is the dashboard. And this had me put in my URL, and then this was the next thing. All right. So you get here and you're like, okay, I can select any of these rows. None of them really matched me, to be honest. I don't think of myself as any of these. Can Do I do WordPress stuff? Yep. Do I do no code stuff? Yeah, but I'm not a junkie. Am I a Zapier user? Yeah, but I use Make and NAN more, right? So I don't know, but if you go through it and let's just say I want to do WordPress because I do have a WordPress site. This was one of the first things that I tripped over is I click on WordPress and it says download our plugin and install it, right? So I do that, and as you see, it gives me a site key. All right. Doesn't matter that you all are seeing it. By the time you all watch this video, I probably would have been done with this account. So, anyways, here's a site key. You go into your WordPress, and I install the plugin and go here, and it says site key, but then it says publishable key and secret key. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, it just said, look, their instructions say install, add your site key. If I needed a publishable key and all that, it would have said it. So I think that I can just go ahead and click connect to Bento, and no, you cannot. Failed. So now that's a little frustrating because I'm like, okay, I literally followed your instructions and they did not work. So understanding, tools and platforms and what it's really looking for, it's looking for an API key. So right here it says generate API key. And now there's no active API. Okay, here's my site. If I hit generate key, look at that, publishable and secret key, right? It's right there. So now let me grab the publishable one. and then I'll grab the secret. Here we go. Connect to Bento, and it's my first time, everyone. So we'll see. But we have gotten further than before, and there we go. So everything is connected. I'll come back to that. So that was my first frustration, is the fact that okay, those instructions weren't clear at all. So on here in here it looks like there's multiple teams. So I guess you can have multiple accounts, but I don't want to do any of that. So now what do I do? Do I just keep selecting stuff? WordPress wizard. What if I do no code junkie? And let's just say I want to do make.com. So add Bento as a connection to make, connect Bento to hundreds of other tools, get a private invite. I'm not going to go through that right now, but I'm just showing you how this platform connects. So right now, before I even dive too deep into it, I see that this is a more technically inclined platform. I cannot see somebody coming from like a MailChimp, although they say it, right? They say MailChimp. Oh, by the way, let me say this. Klaviyo does a good job with events as well, mainly from Shopify, but they do a good job. But on the homepage, if I could bring it back up, it's making mentions of, migrate. If I go to product and marketing automation, migrate from ConvertKit. Do you really want me to migrate from ConvertKit? ConvertKit is really easy to use, visually appealing, right? And now MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, do you really want me to migrate from them, or do you really want to position that? Because this experience is not that at all. This is again, drip-esque, Klaviyo-esque, yeah, because it's you got to kind of learn the UI and everything. I mean, every platform you have to learn the UI, but this is really technical, right? And then if you want to get help and schedule a call, for me, I'm in Chicago. I mean, look at this. I'm not getting up at 7 a.m., 5 a.m. I know it's probably friendly to Australia. I believe that's where Jesse's from, or where he's living. Or I can go late in the evening. So how about no to this? Maybe, hopefully, they'll get somebody on their sales team that can actually handle US calls. But at the same time, international folk probably feel the same way about us, right? American companies that have American friendly scheduling, but not so much for their country. So touche there, but still would like to see it. All right. Go to people. Here's me. If I just click on me, you see this? Fields. Come on now. Nope. No, what platform? This looks like JSON, right? Like that's the syntax for JSON essentially. And this just is not your regular presentation, right? But listen to me. I'm not using Bento for a regular presentation. This does not bother me. What I'm looking for is the ability to send events, segment on those events, and trigger actions based on them. If you can do that easily, for me, it's a win, right? So let's just see if I wanted to add a field. Um, I want to do a new field. So it takes me here, and let me just say business. The key doesn't change, so you'll need to change that as well. And then there you go. Look at this. Float, Boolean. When is the last time you saw float or Boolean as a field type in any email marketing platform? Some of you don't even know what a float or a Boolean is, right? As I'm speaking right now, some of you are probably wondering what an integer is, right? But this is just speaking to the technical language that you're going to find in Bento. It doesn't turn me off. I know what all these things are. So I'll just do a string, and we saved it. This will tell me how many people, what if I click on it, it creates like its own segment, how many people have that field, which is interesting because this is 0. This does remind me, it's very drip-esque, because in drip I could create custom fields, but they had to be attached to a contact. If they weren't attached to a contact, then they didn't show. And that's what this is kind of saying, is like 0. So I don't know if I need to go now. Is there documentation? Probably. There's probably documentation that walks you through all of this, but that would defeat the purpose of a first impression, so you can capture my experience without knowing anything. So if I go to add, I should be able to select business and then hit update field. And where is it? Should be in here, right? Or I didn't put a value. I think I've got to do business, and then I'll just do and do update field. There we go. Now it's there. So until the field is created and has a value, it won't show. And I don't even know how to get back to that. Does this take me there? I don't know how to get back to that page. Oh, here, fields. Pretty straightforward. So now it should say one. Business. Oh, it doesn't have accounts yet. Maybe I just need to refresh. So perhaps this will update over time, right? Create a rule, add rule. So maybe I have to create the rule. It's not automatic. Custom field doesn't seem to show there. So let me just say business. Okay. So it doesn't seem to be acknowledging it yet, and maybe there's something I don't know, right? First name, custom field, first name. There's definitely a field though, right? You all saw it. This field definitely exists. I go to users and it's definitely here. So whatever. All right. You've got tags. All right. These are all default. Again, since these are attached, let me just see. Can I add a tag to me and it show? Right. So go here, add a tag, and I'll say lead, don't trigger, and then apply. All right. So now let's go back to my leads, to my tags. Don't see it yet. So maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's a button somewhere that you're supposed to push and it updates all of these things. But in terms of do see, there's a disconnect, right? I'm doing something, but I'm not seeing it. Go to segments. Here they've got some pre-built segments for you. This is interesting. Compare segments. So I can perhaps select two and then just see the difference between them. Now that would be cool for like a funnel if you were tagging every stage of the funnel and then you could just come here, or I should say if you were segmenting based on every stage of the funnel, you could come here and just kind of highlight your stages and see how they're performing. That could be cool, right? And there's another thing here that is not, you don't see. Look at this. Decay visitor tag. Well, that's a visitor tag. Um, Let me create a tag and see. Is it no group? All right. So let me explain to you what you're seeing here. Okay, tags are the easiest way to label your visitors. So every tag is a visitor tag. That was okay. Got it. A little confusing. But they have name and tag group. What I like about tag grouping is, let's say you've got two tags in a group. It serves as a radio button when you select tag grouping. So if I've got lead and customer in a group and someone has a customer tag, and you apply the lead tag, it will automatically take away the customer tag. If they have a lead tag and you apply the customer tag, it automatically take away the lead tag. So essentially a group means you can only have one tag in that group at all times. So no more tag swapping and all of that. I thought that was great. And then I like this, right? Delay 7 days. I think this should be standard in every platform. Sometimes you want to add a tag for a time, and if you don't, you just disable it. But I feel like this is a great addition. So you see that though there are some frustrations in the UI and the functionality of it, there's really some strong promise with some of the features that are already there. All right. Events, of course, this is where I really want to learn more about is events, how they're stored, how they work, things of that nature. This is my primary reason for using this platform. As is interesting because it says simply add UTMs to any link you send to your website and will automatically track all your advertising. So it's not limited to links in emails on your from links in emails. All right. So as long as there's a UTM, I don't have to log into Google Analytics. Oh my gosh, please never. I never want to log into that platform, right? But I need to because I need to see my analytics. But this will be good to just have a quick view of it, right? So that's promising to me. Then you go to lists, and this is what I saw. I'm like, hey, this is the page, right? So you see where it says recent emails. This will show all the recent emails, and I can't, I feel like I should be able to scroll and see this full page. You can't see the full page. nor can I click a button that says like preview. I can't do anything. Only thing I could do is add a list and say members, people who paid. How about that? And users will be added to this list when they have a tag. So now you see tags are tied to lists. So I don't know how to feel about that. I don't necessarily love that, but I don't hate it. I just think there's better ways of doing stuff. So anyways, it's not even showing the full preview of the page. I can't scroll. So that leaves quite a bit to be desired. All right. So here we've got broadcast, sequences, flow emails, authors, layouts, logs, stats, content search. All I want to do is I'm going to try to get 2 for 1 and do emails and sequences. So this is very reminiscent of, I believe, ConvertKit, or Kit. Kit operates like this, and you create a sequence and then you add the emails in there. So let's go through the process of adding the email. And it's not too bad. This is a text editor, and then this is Stripo for their drag and drop. So they must integrate with Stripo. If you don't know what Stripo is, it's a standalone platform actually that allows you to build HTML templates that you can import into pretty much any platform. This Shoji is just, I think, for text-based. Let's do both of them. Let's do Soji. All right. Start writing. Do I get this is a welcome email. Thanks for coming along. What is this? Generate. I think this is AI. All right, there we go. Glad to have you on this journey. It doesn't generate yet for the body, but I think it just took like the context of, I don't know what it took to generate this. So this is text only. So let me hit save changes and leave. So now that one's here. Wait 7 days. I could change that. If I click on it, I can wait days, months, hours, or send it instantly. Okay. And then if I add an email through Stripo, this looks like, here we go. I think there were layouts. There was a way to pick from a library. I think I'm moving too fast, but this is pretty standard. Drag and drop. One thing that was interesting, everyone, was this form. Putting a form in an email? Like I've never seen this. I've never seen this. So URL to your service, then you add the form. Let's say text. Did it add it? Add text area. Look at that. I don't even know if this is legal. Because forms are usually, some kind of JavaScript to submit them, and you can't have scripts in emails. I don't know. Again, I have never seen this, but look at this. The fact that it's not going outside of your email, perhaps they are literally letting you capture information within the email, and then some kind of Ajax or something goes and displays like the response. But I've never seen that. I've never seen it. And yeah, let's just get rid of it. So these are some other things: menu, timer, banner, spacer. So it is what it is. All these builders kind of look the same. You have your hiccups with it and things that you like and don't like. I try to keep my email designs very simple so that I can use any platform and don't have to learn much. So let me get out of here. How do I get out of here? Back to all sequences. All right. So that's that. If I go to flow emails, this should just show emails that are in the flows. Layouts. I don't have a layout. I could save one. Logs. Shows all your emails. This is your stats. And then content search. Maybe this is searching for all of your emails, which is cool. Look at this. Search and replace coming soon. So you can replace text within emails. I'm assuming that's what you'll be able to do. It'd be nice if I clicked that and it actually told me what it would be. If I go into flows, this is where the platform lost me, everyone. I'm just gonna be honest. I got so frustrated in this process. So let me just do this. Add a flow, and I'll tell you why. Now I don't want to do the tour. So first off, here we go. I can move this thing. This is a custom event, and this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I want to be able to trigger off events. This is why I'm here, right? And they've got other videos to show you how they do forms and everything. So now it starts to make sense why Jesse, the founder, was like, once you learn the Bento way, because it truly is different, but the difference actually makes it more powerful. So by default, this looks very computer-ish, like very old school UI. It's not updated to the latest go high levels or active campaigns and keeps and entreports and all that. However, it's powerful. So let's just say new form submitted. And I didn't realize that this is AI. This is not actually the name of it. So you could describe, say, when a form is submitted. If you don't know where it's in, where the feature is, you could just type it in here, and then you see, look at this, popular event equals identify inform identify. Identif- I don't know what that means. So identified inform. Oh, this is an event. So you have a form with the event that says identify. But you can go here to and say custom event contains, and let's just say new form. Now, if I had an event and I put new form in the name of it, it would trigger this, right? At a real surface level. Again, to actually get the event to be sent over, I'm not going to go through that. Look at all the YouTube videos or anything out there. If you want me to, let me know below the video. I just don't want to make this 2 hours long. And I will, because I plan on exploring more within my first 30 days. So look at this. If enabled, this trigger will show up on the profile pages so you can trigger them manually. Absolutely. I want that to always be the case. In fact, leave that on by default and let me turn it off because I'm always in the contact profile, especially when I'm debugging and triggering stuff. However, I know why this is not on by default because they do actually have a way to test your I can't remember how, but they do have a way to test your workflow that I thought was very impressive, right? So now we have this sidebar over here. You can see a debugger, right? No issues found. And here you've got videos. And the problem I have with these videos is it's all fine if it's a YouTube video because I can pop it out and watch it in YouTube. But this one is not connected. Let's do an overview maybe. Look at this. This is tiny. I can't see that. So then I say, how do I make it bigger? There's no big, but I can maximize. Even at that, I'm squinting, everyone. Like I'm literally squinting, trying to see what these videos are. So bad experience there. So let me just go through some of the stuff. Form is submitted. Let's just say I had that set up. I can send an email. I'm gonna drag, send the email over. Okay. And then I can add to a sequence. And then look, you can send a webhook to Slack, Discord, Zapier, and all of these things, right? So now this is where my frustration began. So I can grab and move this now. And every time I let it go, this pops up. I can't click on the canvas to get it away. So it keeps forcing me to come all the way up here to close it out. So I say, okay, I'm going to click this and drag it to connect. Nothing. Somehow this is at the bottom of my connection. So I just click that and delete it. Let me move this back and you see that I can't move it. Like this canvas continues to just fight me. I can't, you all see this hand. The hand is showing like it could grab and I cannot move anything. If I go down here, I can't move it. So I'll refresh. I'll refresh and start over. So now I can move stuff, right? Then I'll do a new tag event. I'll drag that over and let me see if I click here. No, so then this pops up and I'm like, what the heck is this? It's what happens when you click this. But what I want to do is drag and connect. Well, this says start here, so I can't do that. I'm sorry, everybody. Let me go back to actions and do add to email sequence. So then maybe I'll put it over it. Oh, that's the key, right? Nope, that's not the key. So I'll click it and drag it. Did that do it? Nope, that didn't do it. So maybe I click and drag from here and that doesn't do it. So I don't know. Just by default, there's no easy way to connect stuff. right? Like it's highlighting, but it's not really working. So what the way that I found is you click on it, delete this, and then I click the button here. And then this is everything that's over to the left. So if I do delay, pick, you see now it's connected. Maybe there's another way. It's not user friendly. That's the whole point. I don't know this platform from Adam. And it's things like this that make it really frustrating, right? And I'm just like, man, I want to like you so much. And the fact that I can't not move it without it opening that side panel, that's frustrating in itself. But let's just look at some other things. You can update their subscription status, tags, fields. You can increment a field, mark a goal. What does it say? Marks a specific goal as completed for a user, allowing you to track and analyze user interaction. So that's fine. Delays, you will not find delays based on date fields. I believe I can delay based on a date. I think I can do hours, days, months, year, natural language, 10 days from now. Okay, 10 days from now. I can do this. Event, what? Maybe. I like this natural language or liquid. Saying you either do 10 days from now or event webinar detail at. So this will delay until a date, I believe. I don't know what count is. So again, it's just going to take some time. All right, set a delay before the next action is allowing you to control the flow. Yeah, so if I did 10 and then did natural language, what does that mean? If I just don't know, right? Can figure it out. Hopefully there's documentation somewhere, but that's just not clear, right? And now I've got it. I've got it here. I just don't know. I just don't know. And I'm a techie person. So if I don't know, it's that much harder to figure out. And you can probably see by now the biggest advantage or the biggest opportunity for this platform is to make things easier. I think you keep the functionality. The functionality is great. I mean, look at this gate. This is what we call a wait until, right? So you go in here and you can wait until hold a user here until they match condition. Okay, look at all the conditions. If they can be tags, goals, or fields, right? But it clearly is not the field that I created because it said business and it's not showing. It's not acknowledging my field, by the way. I'm feeling a way about that, right? Now, if I do tags, you see this, and then if I do tags fuzzy, I have no idea. Listen, I'm sure fuzzy means something. And if you're a developer, I'm sure you're laughing at me like, bruh, fuzzy means X, Y. Fuzzy means that you can type the field value in. Nobody's going to know what fuzzy means. So, but if you're telling me this platform is built by developers for developers, my entire approach to this changes, right? But that's not what the website said. The website says migrate from MailChimp, migrate from ConvertKit, migrate from all of these platforms. But I'm not able to look at this, plus a YouTube video on the board. I'm not able to do things as easily in this platform. So you got some splits. I like this. Split a segment, split based on a segment, in session, in flow. Teleporter, I think, is like you jump somewhere. You see this? So if I say the destination, it's not showing me anything. Before I tried to use this before, and my assumption was that it would show somewhere on the canvas as the destination, but I did it and I never saw like a line going to it or anything like that. So um, I'm just basing it off the name of this thing that it will teleport you to somewhere. Look, teleports a user to a specific area in the workflow. All right. So, okay. But again, very difficult to figure out how to use it. And if I'm going to go through all of this and squint my eyes, no, I'm just going to stop, which I did. And that's why my first one, this is my first one. That's why it looks like this, because that's as far as I can go. So let's go back. So that's the flow. I hope that it's better eventually. And now look at this. Get started with forms. You could use Bentos. This is, listen, everybody, you see how this is pushing it down and collapsing. That as in terms of a user experience, very distracting. I just it's anyway, it's frustrating. Um, so I have all of these. So if I say, oh, but I'm using Fluent Forms, I don't see it. What do I do? Well, you can always send a webhook, and I'm sure that I can catch the webhook and do some stuff. That again, another video if that's something that you're interested in, or perhaps search YouTube. They have things. So if I do Bento, here we go. And essentially what I want to know is, oh, look at this event subscribe, right? So now if I go back to to my flow, let's try it. Let's try it. Event says subscribe. If I go back to my flow and I say new form submitted, let's just do custom event contains popular events. How about that? Does it show? It doesn't show. Okay. I thought maybe it would add it as a popular event, but I can do custom event contains, and then I'll do subscribe. Autofill everywhere would be great because you have to remember to put the $ and type it out. Again, this just feels real techy, y'all, like super technical and not user friendly. And if that's what you're going to be, I'm okay with that, everyone. Just say that though. Don't promote it like it's not like it's a user friendly platform. So show code. Here's all the code. If you want to copy and paste it, you can. Show form. If I want to go here and say create the following fields, color, and I'll say red, green, blue. Maybe I could just put a whole prompt in here that says, and then I'll say, C. Let's just see. During, and maybe it will do those two. Let's see if it creates those two steps. It's got city and your favorite color, right? I think. So what I need to do to see, okay, this is the result. So it's showing me the result, but how do I, okay, show form. I don't know how to highlight anything and edit it. Created initial form. So you see me struggling. It's kind of like members only software. So like once you know, but if you don't know, you're lost. So I can't do anything. Can't even preview. Is there any way to preview this form? No, I'm just gonna leave the editor and maybe I'll go back to forms here. And no, you see how I had this base design stuff over here? It was gone once I hit generate. I don't know how to get it back. So I'm done with forms. All right. So you've got all these forms, pop-ups, surveys, landing pages. We are currently rolling out a new free product. All right. Reports are just that. I don't have anything in there. Deliverability, apps can connect to all of these. This would have been nice to see a drop down, search for thousands of apps. Okay, show me which ones are available. If I do Airtable. Okay, so now it's available. So it would be nice just to see them so I don't have to like type in a letter first to see. But as you see, let's say fonts. Nope. Let's say drip. Okay, there you go. Let's say keep. Yep. Launch report. There we go. And Klaviyo. All right. Google form. There we go. About type form. There we go. Tally. There's that. Fill out. All right. So if you know exactly what you want to integrate with, in fact, let's do that. Fill out. But it's saying, okay, yeah, let's try it. See what it says. Create your own flows. Bento to fill out. That's interesting. Oh, Bento Plus, not Bento 2. And I'd imagine log into Zapier to edit your Zap. That is not what you said here. You said Bento to fill out. You didn't say by way of Zapier. So if that's the case, just put Zapier instead of saying thousands of apps, because you know what? I bet you they're all Zapier. What if I do this? Okay, use this workflow. Zapier. See that? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna end it there because I don't want to. There's quite a few things in here that frustrate me, and I don't want to put too much negative sentiment, but no, I am going to say this. That is misleading. You're not connecting with 1,000 apps. You're connecting with Zapier. Zapier that's connecting with 1,000 apps. And it's right up here. Like you got Zapier. You need to put somewhere, I want this one, and then via Zapier, because I don't think any of these are native. Um, again, I don't have an issue with that, but just say it. Say it. There's just a lot of things. And it's, again, he said it's a small company early. I am not writing this company off at all. I love how they're handling events. And one thing I didn't do, I didn't even look at the pricing for you all. Let's end there. How about that? Let's collectively end that pricing. Well, hold on. Let me see these iterations, because you wasn't telling the truth. Yeah. Okay. I think this is more real, because I know WS Forms has a direct integration with them, things like that. Now, this is interesting segment, I bet you, because they can receive events so easily. I want this to work. You all don't understand. I really want this to work, because I need a marketing platform that handles events without having to write a whole bunch of developer code. So I want this platform to win it. It's just frustrating using it right now. So if I've got 4,000 contacts, I can sign up for the starter, which means up to 100,000 emails and 3,000 identified users, because this platform does track anonymous for $30. That's good. I don't have an issue with that. Now, I don't want to do it. 10,000 is usually, yeah, look at that. 10,000, you got to talk to us, right? So at what point do I need to talk to you? Is it 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000? It's 10,000, right? It's 10,000 that you need to start. So I can go up to 9,000 contacts. 100,000, that means 10 emails per contact a month, right? 10 emails would be 90,000. So 10, maybe 10 and some segmented ones. And $30 a month, I feel like that's very competitive pricing. I I have no issues with that. There's no tricky when paid annual and then all of these other things that you have to add, and it all of a sudden you're at 150 a month and stuff like that. Real straightforward, real straightforward. So I can appreciate that. So let's end the video on a I can appreciate it note, and nothing else. And let me say that it's always nice to see new emerging platforms. I'm rooting for this platform. I hope they get some of the UI and user experience stuff figured out, and some of the clunkiness in the builder and all of that, because I could definitely see this carving out a space specifically for apps and any event-based online platforms that want to tie in marketing. I think this platform could easily own that space, and lead the way. I think they could lead the way doing it. I say that loosely, because I haven't gone into the reporting and saw how they um, how stuff is shown, but from the sense of being able to send events easily to the platform and trigger automation, I hope they get it together, and I hope they prove to be a viable solution moving forward.